Hello everyone, Parallel here, and welcome back to Star Trek Online. This is going to be a guide for Tour the Galaxy. For reference, I'm recording this during Season 13.5 in 2017. And that is important because this is after the Sector Space revamp as well as the Skill Tree revamp, which is important for how you actually run this quest. So in this guide, I'd like to cover first what the Tour of the Galaxy is and why you would want to run it. Second, I will show the ship and the build that I am using and give some options that you can use when you run this quest. And then finally, I will do an actual run of the quest itself and provide some tips as I'm running through it. Alright, so first thing, what is Tour the Galaxy? So this is a daily quest that you can get in your quest journal. And what it basically is a 15-minute timed quest where you fly around the Beta Quadrant and the Alpha Quadrant and visit a bunch of star systems. So the quest is here in your quest log. If you go to available quests, you should see it here. Where are you? There it is, Tour of the Galaxy. It is a daily quest, so it basically has a 20-hour cooldown. And so the reason why you want to run this quest is it's very simple. You run this to get energy credits. The whole point of this quest is to farm up some EC, and it is very good for both new players and veterans for earning EC. It's one of the most efficient methods in the game. And it is very consistent as well. It doesn't require any kind of luck or anything like that. If you complete this quest fully, you actually get 925,000 energy credits. So just under 1 million for 15 minutes of work is not bad. And even if you're a new player and you don't have the optimal build that I will be showing here in this video, you don't have to worry too much because you do get rewarded those energy credits as you go. So each time you visit a star system, you get a portion of those. So even if you don't complete the whole quest, you do get rewarded with a pretty sizable amount of energy credits based on how many systems you visit. You just don't get the full bonus. Alright, so let's get into the build here. So the first thing I want to mention before showing anything on the ship here is very important. So like I said, this is taking place after the skill tree revamp, and there's one perk that you need from the skill tree that is absolutely mandatory to complete this on time, and it is right here. So you need to spend at least 5 points into your science tree. And you have to select this one here, Sector Space Travel Speed. There is no real Sector Space Speed skill anymore, so this is really the only perk that you can use to increase your sector speed. It says it only increases by 25%, but it is actually a huge, huge difference. I was actually, when I first tried to run this Tour of the Galaxy, I was ending up short every time, and even though I had replicated a lot of the builds that I've seen other people use successfully, but if you don't have this perk, you will not be able to do it. It just makes a huge difference. So I had to switch over. I'd originally had selected the cooldown on the transwarp. So make sure you choose that top option for sector space travel speed. So as far as the actual build, first you're going to need to select a ship. And there's a key thing here that you need to select on these ships to, again, be successful doing this. You need to have a ship that has some sort of an advanced quantum slipstream drive. And there's only a pretty narrow few selections you can use. I am going to be using the Tier 5 Vesta, which is one of the ships where this ship comes with a 2-piece console set, or it comes with a 3-piece, but the 2-piece set bonus gives you an advanced chronoton integrated quantum slipstream drive. And this is one of the best slipstream drives out there, so if you do have this ship, you are well on your way to getting started for Tour of the Galaxy. And the reason you need these advanced quantum slipstream drives is because instead of a 30-second duration, these all have a 60-second duration, which is absolutely critical, and they are a little bit faster than the normal slipstream drives as well. I thought I'd mention just a few other ships that are options out there. I believe the Ryzian Luxury Cruiser comes with one. I'm trying to think of some other ones. There's also the Experimental Science Vessel, the Dauntless ship, that also comes with one. That's a Tier 6 ship you can get in the C-Store. What else? I believe also the 1,000-day Veteran Reward ships have an advanced slipstream drive. I may be wrong on that, but... and there may be a few ships out there that I'm forgetting about, but those are what you can get. As you can see, this is much better off, or much easier to obtain if you are a Federation player. I think if you are Romulan or KDF, there's a very, very limited amount of ships that you can use with an advanced quantum slipstream drive. Because as the Dauntless and the Tier 5 Vesta is Federation only. Alright, so those are the ships you can use. Like I said, I'm using the Tier 5 Vesta. Now, there are a few pieces of gear you need. Most of the gear does not matter at all, but there are a few pieces that do matter. So first thing you're going to need is a warp drive. The warp drive I'm using is the Obelisk Warp Core. You can get this one from the Sphere of Influence episode. So it's very, very easy to obtain. And you can see one of the bonuses there is it gives you turn rate while in slipstream. That's very important because you need to be zipping around from system to system, and you need to be able to turn quickly while in slipstream. Another option here, I believe there's also a fleet. I don't think it's a plasma integrated one. I think it's the fleet field stabilizing warp core that you can get. So if you're in a fleet, you can get that one, and you want to make sure you get the mods with the what is it, SSS, I believe, for sector speed. Or slipstream drive speed, and I think there's another one, SST, which is like the cooldown on your slipstream drive. So you want to make sure if you get that fleet warp core, it has those mods on it. But otherwise, this Obelisk warp core will work fine. So the next thing you're going to need is an impulse engine, and there are a few options. I've seen quite a few variants out there that people use, but I can recommend 3. The one that I use is the Assimilated Sub-Transwarp engine, and this one greatly increases your speed while in sector space, but not in slipstream. So just your regular sector speed space is much faster with this. So as you will be spending about half of your time outside of the slipstream drive, this is a very good engine because it speeds up while your slipstream is on cooldown. Now, the other engines you can use, I have a few of them here. One is the Mako impulse engine. This one gives you, improves your traveling speed while in slipstream, I believe, or is it just sector speed? Okay, yeah, it's just sector speed. That's another option you can use. I've seen people use that successfully. Another one is also the Omega Force. This one gives you more cooldown on your slipstream drive. You can see there the 100% recharge time reduction. Now, when you use this and the Obelisk Warp Core, which also gives a 50% recharge time reduction, it's not, the way it adds together is a little bit odd. It doesn't actually give you like a full 150%. I'm not quite sure exactly how it's calculated, but I could tell you with just the Obelisk Warp Core, my cooldown time for a slipstream drive is 1 minute. And when I put on this engine and the warp core, my cooldown time is 40 seconds. So that's still actually pretty good. That gives you a pretty substantial boost to your uptime and slipstream drive. So those are some options you can use for the impulse engine. I do like the Assimilated one. If you're going to run this on any ship without the advanced slipstream, I would highly recommend this one, the Assimilated warp engine, because it will give you the most bang for your buck if you don't have a great slipstream drive. You need that speed. So if you're wondering, all 3 of these engines are actually obtainable through the Omega reputation. So just grind out your Omega marks and you will be able to build all of these engines down here in your... there's a deflector, there's the engine. So you can build all of them here. And the last thing I would recommend that you also need for running this is a console, and it's this console right here, the Polaric Modulator. This one gives you a nice bonus to turn rate while in slipstream. Again, this will make you very, very nimble while in slipstream. So those are kind of the key pieces that you need. So you need the perk from the skill tree, you need a good ship with an advanced slipstream drive, you need the impulse engine, assimilated impulse engine, obelisk warp core, and then the polaric modulator. None of this other stuff really makes much of a difference at all. Alright, so that is the build. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the big thing when running this is you do need a path. So I actually like to start right near Sol because I do the beta quadrant first, and then I will end up down here, and then I will transwarp over to the alpha quadrant, the Farah system, and finish up over there. So I like to start somewhere near Sol because that's usually where I log in and log out, so it's easy to get going. And there are a lot of good paths available out there on the web, so I can recommend, I might put a link down there to an image that will show that exact path that I'm using, but you'll be able to see the path while I actually, while I'm running here live during this video. And my path actually starts right here at the Tenebia system, and I will start going down right along this first column here of sectors. So one thing that is a decent tip to help you get started is that you can actually, once you plot your course for that system, while you're on your way and you already have momentum going towards the system, let's see if I can, I can't see it yet, but once you have your momentum going, then you accept the quest on the way there. So I'm going ahead and do that. I'm going to hail the quest giver here. And then as I'm on my way to the Tenebia system, I'm going to accept it and we will get started. Okay, we accepted it, and you can see we're heading up on Tenebia, and my next one is going to be the Orion system. Let's go to Orion, and let's get my transwarp going. Alright, not the best start, but what you want to try to do is, once you get smooth at this, right when you get close to that system, you want to plot the course to the next one. So my next one here is Risa. So I'm going to click on Risa and get ready to do it. There we go. And you want to accept the next system course change right as you're getting there. And go down here to Tralia system. You do have to be a little bit careful. It is possible if you do it too early, you will you will change course too quickly, and then you won't actually get credit for the flyby, which is a little bit annoying, and then you have to backtrack, and that'll really cost you some time. So my first slipstream usually wears off right around down here, and the next one is kind of a sharp turn. So there we go. And now I'm out of slipstream, and we're heading up here back to Drozana. So after this turn, we should go back up to full speed. So you can see with the assimilated drive, I'm actually traveling at warp 21 outside of slipstream, which is actually really good. After Drozana, I'm going to head up here to Archianus system. Once you're out of slipstream, you got to be a little bit careful. That looks like it didn't quite take it hold there. Let's do it again. There we go. You have to be a little bit careful because it takes a little bit longer to close in and get credit for the system when you're not in slipstream. I'm coming back up here in a few seconds, and I will engage it, and then we'll head up to where is my next one? Japoria, I believe. Oh wait, let's do it. Or no, not Japoria, it's Viranat. And then we head up to Argalius. There we go. So far, so good. Now, typically when I run this with the build that I use, I usually have around a minute to spare or so. Whoa, I almost didn't get credit for that one. Almost screwed up. Let's go this way. Then I head up here to Nimbus. 5 seconds left on the transwarp. Or the slipstream, sorry. There we go. So as you can see, it's a fun little mission to do. It's kind of relaxing. You just kind of fly around, visit all the systems, make some energy credits. Now you can actually see if I'm bringing up the chat here. So each time I'm visiting one of these, you get the 25,000 energy credits. And you also get some exploration and trade XP, which is kind of nice for your duty officer schools. Now next time, right when I get past Nimbus, I believe I can engage again. It is a pretty sharp turn, so I think I'll probably wait until I make the turn before doing it. But then I'm going to head over here to the Lear's system. And in a few seconds here, we will engage. Sometimes you hit the edge here. Yeah. That's one annoying thing about this path is you hit the edge and you got to click by there. All right, here we go. So you can see with this build, during Slipstream, I travel at warp 43.2. So how are we doing on time here? 10 minutes left. So you pretty much want to almost bump into the star. You want to make sure you get credit, because if you don't get credit, that's when you got to backtrack, and that's when you lose a lot of time. So this path here, okay, I'm out of transwarp again, but this path will take me down here to the Fabian system, and then you come up here, and then you go back down again past New Romulus. About to go past Iconia. Hopefully no heralds will ambush me. So we got 25 seconds left on the slipstream. So after this path, you're going to end up right down here, and then we're going to transwarp to the beta quadrant, or sorry, the alpha quadrant. And there is Galorndon Core. There was an awesome TNG episode that took place there. Now here, I'm probably... I think I'm going to try to make this turn before I engage the slipstream. And then I'll get the slipstream going. Here we go. Gamma Eridon, that is another TNG episode. I believe that was where, oh, that was that one really good episode where Beta was, where Data was piloting the, or captaining the Sutherland. Why are you not turning? Please turn, thank you. That was weird going off course there, not sure what happened. Yeah, where Data was piloting the Sutherland, and they had to intercept the Romulans from interfering in the Klingon Civil War. That was a really, really great, I think it was a 2-part episode. And of course, Kittimer. Yeah, see, one thing I didn't do optimally there is you have to set your course for the next system before the right before you complete the current target of the system that you're going at. If you complete the current target system, it like for some reason brings you to a stop, and then you got to reselect it again, like that. I just failed it again. But so I should be able to make it down here to the Sanix system. That is going to be the end of my beta quadrant run, and then I'm going to transwarp over to Defera. And again, I like to save my slipstream. Usually, see, I'm a little bit behind. Usually my slipstream will be coming up just as I'm reaching the Sanix system, which right now I'm obviously a little bit behind. I was not optimal. So I'm down to right around 6 minutes. So I'm going to get ready to transwarp over to Defera right when this completes. There we go. Now this transition is a little bit annoying because it takes you into yeah, it takes you into normal space, and then you have to go out to sector space. So it's a lot of zoning. And then you also have to fly to the Defera system to get credit for it, so it's a little bit finicky to get going at first. So this is another area where you can lose some time. Okay, so we'll explore that. Now, I want to head down here to the Arwath system. And we'll get going fast. So we're going to go down here, grab these, and then kind of head around, and then head up, and we end up near the Breen system. Right there, I just failed. That is one that I often fail at because it's a sharp turn, and I always try to do it a little bit early because I don't want to hit the edge, which I did anyway, so that was kind of a double fail. Hopefully that won't completely screw me over. Should still be able to make it, I hope. I think I clicked on Cardassia when I meant to click on Deep Space Nine. Yep, so after that, after Deep Space Nine, then you head over here to Corwin system. So yeah, I mean, this quest is all about practice and trying to be optimal and with your turn and your transition from system to system. That's how you can save the most time. Now, the better build you have, the little more leeway you have to screw up like I have been during this run. A few screw-ups is usually fine, but if you do too many, you will not finish in time. So we've got 15 more seconds. On my slipstream. Yeah, so that's what you want to do. You want to set in your course before the previous one completes. And here we go. After we visit the Beta Z system. Then I believe we head up, yes, Tellar, and then we head down and grab these two. Now, it's a nice straight flyby like that. You can actually set your course a little bit earlier, and you'll still go right by the star, which is nice. It's only these ones where you have like a sharp turn that's a little bit more difficult to optimize. Oh, that was a binary star. Cool. And we're going to go right past Nketi here in a minute. How are we doing? 2 minutes left. I think we can do it. So yeah, you seem to get credit right around 1 light year away or so, or less than 2 light years away. And one actually pretty recent change here is they moved the Frengenar system up a little bit once they added these sectors here up in the... I didn't make the turn. Yeah, they added this new rows of sector space up here, and I don't remember what season that was. But now Frengenar is up a little bit here. And some of the paths you'll see on the maps online is these sectors aren't up here. But they did move Frengenar a little bit, so it's a little bit more out of the way than it used to be. Okay, 8 seconds. I got 1 minute left. I should do it. I should be able to do it here. I'm cautiously optimistic. Okay, there's Frengenar. Got credit for that. Alright, come on, Breen. 47 seconds. I think I got this, no problem. So like I said, if you don't screw up quite as much with this build, I would typically, in like a good run, finish with at least a minute to spare. But here I'm going down to like 30 seconds to spare. And here comes Breen, and there we go. So that is it. That is Tour of the Galaxy complete, 100%. And you can see here, I'm going to go over to my assets. I have 925,000 energy credits. I zeroed it out right before I started. I forgot to mention that, but I did indeed do that. So there you go. 15 minutes for 925,000 energy credits. It is an excellent source of energy credits, and you get rewarded along the way. So even if you don't make it, even if you don't have the perfect build, it's still worth doing. You know, for a new player, there's not that many great sources of energy credits, and you know, this really is one of them. You can even if you get like 500,000 energy credits, you know, it's still pretty good, and it's good practice. You start to learn the routes and learn everything, and as you earn the rest of the gear to fill out your build, you can then, you know, just get better and better and complete it faster and faster. You'll be all set for farming those out. Now you can do this on alts as well, so you can run it on a lot of characters if you're really trying to grind out the energy credits. But like I said, it's really better on Federation. You just have many more choices of ships with the advanced quantum slipstream drive. So that is it, everyone. I do appreciate. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck out there running your Tour of the Galaxy. Oh, one thing I don't know if I mentioned this, but this console, the Polaric Modulator, this is also very easy to get. You can get this from the episode Delta Flight. So the Obelisk Warp Core and this console you can get from episodes. The Impulse Drive you can get from Reputation. Probably the hardest thing is to get your hands on one of these ships. You're going to have to shell out the energy credits to get them from the Sea Store, or you have to get the Ryzian vessel from the Phoenix box, or the 1,000-day veteran rewards. So those are a little bit more difficult to get. But otherwise, the rest of the gear is very, very easy to get. And just make sure you pick up this trait, this perk on your skill tree for science for the sector space travel speed. And you will be all set. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. And thanks again for watching. Bye for now.